fly the most powerful rocket ever, the Saturn V. At 363 feet, it's the size of a 35-story office building and carries 1 million gallons of rocket fuel. No other rocket can launch a manned spaceship beyond the bounds of Earth orbit.
The night before the launch, Saturn V was out there with floodlights on it, and somebody had the bad taste of telling it was like a 2-kiloton nuclear explosion if it blew up, so we just hoped it wouldn't blow up.
This is Apollo Saturn launch control at 2 hours, 20 minutes and counting. Countdown still going very satisfactorily at this time.
I had decided that there was about a 1/3 chance that the flight would be totally successful. Then I thought there was a 1/3 chance that we wouldn't make it back.
The mission was more important than anybody. It was more important than our lives, than our families. That's what we were there for. We were killed more times in simulation than you can shake a stick at.
T-minus 90 seconds and counting.
It was very, very cold. We sat in there and shivered and froze.
50 seconds and counting. We have the power transfer. We're now on the flight batteries within the launch vehicle. 45 seconds.
You could see up a little bit. We were flat on our backs. And I recall that circling over the spacecraft were a couple of seagulls, and I've often wondered what happened to those seagulls. They must have been the most surprised birds in the world when that thing lit off.
T-minus 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. We have ignition sequence start. The engine go on. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Sideways shaking was unbelievable. The vibration was so intense you couldn't see the instrument panel. I thought we'd had it during the launch. I was hoping that Frank Borman didn't have his hand on the abort controller. He said he took his hand off and he'd rather die than make a false abort.
1 minute after liftoff, the Saturn V is already supersonic.
Well, the Saturn V is still the most powerful machine that man has ever devised. 20 tons of fuel a second, 7.5 million pounds of thrust. I think we were all surprised at how strong that thing was. It had had 2 or 3 iffy missions before ours, but it was a piece of cake. It just worked beautifully. Unbelievable.
5 engines in the first stage blast the Saturn V to 7 times the speed of sound.
The second stage cut in. Big bang.
At 40 miles high, it's still accelerating.
When you staged, you were throwing forward in the belts and then backward in the belts.
And I thought I was being catapulted through the instrument panel.